Hi everyone, my name is Vishal Singh and I'll be teaching you chess today. So in the previous class, we had started with defending by moving away, right? And we solved quite a lot of puzzles from in the previous video, and we'll be continuing that today. So let's start with the class. I'll be sharing my screen now. Okay. So this, I guess, is the last one that we did, and I'll wrap it up really quickly. And the answer was to rook to d8. You're playing as black. Rook to d8 to safeguard, to save your rook from being captured, because you cannot move in any of the given boxes. Simple. Okay, let's move on to the next one. Okay, here you're playing as white, and again pause the video, look yourself which of your pieces is being attacked, and what you can do in order to make sure that your piece is safe and isn't being captured in any other spot that if you move it to. Okay, so you're playing as white over here, and your knight is under the attack. So let's see what are the places that a knight can move to. Okay, so you cannot move to c3 because your own piece is occupying that block at the moment. So this is definitely out of the option. Let's see, can you move to b6? No, right? Because the pawn here at c7 will then capture your knight for absolutely free. We do not want that. You can capture the enemy pawn at c7, but then the king will capture your knight. So that is again not a fair trade, because you'll be giving away 3 points for what? In exchange for just 1 point. No, right? So we do not want that either. We definitely do not want to move here at e7, because again you'll be giving away your pawn for free. Why? Because the king will then capture your knight. So that is out of the option. We cannot move here at f6 either. Why? Quite simple. I hope you guys see this. The pawn will then capture our knight. So this is again out of the option. So all the options above the knight are out of the option. Now there are 3 places left. We do not even want to move to knight to b4. Why? Because the pawn here at a5 will then capture our knight. So again that is out of the option. And we cannot move. We do not want to move here at f4 either. Why? Because the pawn here at e5 will then capture a knight at f4. So again, that is out of the option. That leaves us only one block to move to, only one option, and that being e3. This is the block where a knight will be completely safe. So you see, this is how you look out for the places where your pieces can move to if they are under attack. So I made it quite simple, I hope. So the answer is quite simple: knight to e3. Got it? Okay, let's move ahead. Okay, so you're playing as white over here again, and pause the video. Look out for yourself which of your piece is under attack, and by what piece is your piece under attack, and what is the solution according to you. Once you figure that out, come back and then play the video. All right, let's move ahead. So obviously your rook is under the attack by what piece? The enemy knight is trying to attack your rook. So we need to get away, because we do not want the knight to capture our rook for absolutely free at least. So that is completely out of the option. So we need to escape. Let's look for the places we can move to. The rook can move in vertical and horizontal lines. So moving to the left is definitely out of the option. Why? Well, it can capture the enemy bishop, but that is again not a fair trade, because you'll be losing 5 points in return for only 3 points. You do not want that. As soon as you capture the enemy bishop, the knight will then capture your rook. So let's try to avoid that, and then let's do not go to the left side. So okay, let's see what we can do at the bottom. So moving to e4 is again not an option, because the bishop will capture our rook, and that too for free. So we do not want that. Let's see what if we go to e3. Again, the pawn will then capture our rook. Plus, it will be attacking then our knight too. So that is, we definitely want to avoid this. And we cannot go any down further. Why? Because our own piece is occupying the next block. So we cannot do that. So moving down is again not an option. Moving towards the left doesn't seem to be an option either. Let's see if we can go up. So we cannot move here at e6, because the bishop will then capture our rook again. not an option. We cannot move to e7 again, not an option. Why? Because the knight is occupying that block. That block is under the attack range of the enemy knight. So again, out of the option. We cannot move to e8 either because the enemy rook is occupying the entire 8th rank as an attack range. Plus the f5. So the moving our rook to e8 is again out of the option. We cannot move to this block at f5 because, as I mentioned, the enemy is also enemy's rook is occupying the entire f file as an attack range. So that is out of the option. We cannot move to g5 either. Why? Because the pawn here at h6 will then capture our rook. So again, that is out of the option. The only available place would be moving our rook to h5 because this pawn is completely unprotected. We can in return capture the enemy pawn. We'll be gaining an extra point and our rook will be safe. So this is definitely a best option to play in this given situation. This would be a perfectly best move to play. Got it? So the answer is quite simple. Rook to h5. Okay. Let's move ahead. Okay, so in this given situation, just a second. Okay, so in this given situation, you're playing as black and you're again pause the video, look which of your pieces is under attack, come up with the possible solution you think would be fine, and then come back and play the video. All right. So so you're playing as black and your bishop seems to be under attack because it is not protected by anything. The knight over here is protected by the pawn, so it is safe completely, and the bishop is not protected. So the bishop can only move diagonally, right? So let's see what are the options. What all options does the bishop has in order to escape safely. It cannot go this way. Why? Because the knight is blocking its way. So it cannot move towards the diagonally upright position. So it cannot move towards the block at just a second. It cannot move towards the block at b6 either. Why? Because this pawn here, the enemy pawn, white pawn, will then capture our bishop, and we do not want that. That would be a completely off trade move. You will be giving away 3 points for what 1 point. We do not want that. We cannot move to b4 and a3 either because the king can then easily capture our bishop for completely free. We do not want that. Let's see. What if we move this way down? Can we move over here? d4. The rook will just capture us. That is again out of the option. Can we move to e3? E3 seems to be a completely fine option, right? There's nothing wrong moving over here. Well, let's keep looking if there are any better options. So e3 seems to be a fine and good and fine option. Let's see. Can we move to f2 and g1? No, right? I don't think so. Why? The knight moves in the L shape. So the enemy knight is occupying these blocks. Not occupying, is these blocks are under the attack range of the enemy knight. So these two are out of the option. So the only best option we have left is bishop to e3. Any other place it moves to, it is probably going to get killed. So the best option we have is bishop to e3. Quite simple. Got it? Okay. Let's move ahead. Okay. So here you're playing as black again, and your bishop again. Okay, I told you the answer. So again, now you know that your bishop is under the attack. I've given you the answer. So pause the video and come back and look for the solution. Look for solution and come back and check if your solution was correct. Okay. So again, you're playing as black. Your bishop is under attack due to this pawn here at h4. Got it? So what should we do in order to keep it safe? Okay, so the bishop can only move diagonally in all the 4 corners. We know that. So moving over here is not an option at h6 because our own piece is occupying that block. Moving towards f6 is not an option. Why? Because the enemy pawn will then simply capture our piece. We do not want that. We'll be losing 3 points in exchange for only 1. Not a good trade. We can capture the enemy pawn here at h4 in return, but again the same thing. We do not. That won't be a fair trade. Losing 3 points for just 1 point. So let's try to avoid that So the only option we have left are this side downs toward the c1. Let's see what happens if we go at f4. Again, the king will just capture us. Not a good option. How about e3? The enemy knight is has an attack range here at e3, so again not a good option. How about d2? Again, the enemy knight can then capture us, so again not a good option. The only safe place seems to be near at c1, so that would be the correct answer. So this answer for this situation, this puzzle would be bishop to c1. Got it? Quite simple. Okay, so that was all for today, and I hope you guys are understanding how to move away when your piece is completely blocked from all the side has been and is being threatened and is about to get killed. How to look out for ways to escape and safeguard and keep your points to yourself and do not just let them take it. So that was all for today. I hope you guys enjoyed. We'll be doing more of these in the next videos. So hope to see you guys in the next session. Bye bye.